And hello, my darling Diamonds in the Rough. I am your favorite talking stone, and today we are back with some more daily puzzles, and today we are starting with some more Wordle. And is my screen weird? My screen might be a little weird. It seems higher than usual. Yeah, it is. So is that better or worse? Is that better or worse? Do a little bit down. Yeah, that should be fine, right? It's good enough. Okay, good enough it is. What isn't good enough, it's more than good enough actually I should say, is jazzy. Our favorite starting word, and that's just a wonderful A. And I love using plants when A is not in the second slot. A is not in the third spot either though, which is mildly unfortunate. What do we want to do? I might want to do A in the fourth spot, and then R. Maybe like something like this, along those lines. But what could we do? Or am? Well, what can we do? We have basically every vowel at our disposal at this moment in time. What do we try to do? I-E-U? Is that how you spell it too? It is. And that at least nets us an E. So I'm thinking some letter E, some letter A, some letter. So what can it be? I'm under the impression that R might end the word. So what can we do? Or do we have an L? We do not have an L. I was thinking along the lines of Pharaoh for some reason, but unfortunately no L. No tapas either. No T or P. So what could we do? What is in our realm? Possibilities that... Maybe we could just need to try another letter. Not another letter, another word. Maybe it ends with A. It could always end with A. Maybe like Terra or... Well, Pharaoh would be the word, not Terra. Because we have no T. Why do I say Pharaoh? I don't know. I'm thinking magnetism for some reason. Magnetism on the mind. But that doesn't mean anything. We need to move along and think. Unfortunately, thinking is not coming naturally at the moment. Alright, so what can we do? What can we do? Let's go blank slate. Oh, why not shear? S-H-E-A-R. Shear. Oh! Wonderful! You take one moment to think and it works out. That was wonderful. I normally like to be able to guess more words, but I really just couldn't think of anything. But we got it! We did get it. And we can move on to our next little game. Our next stellar track. Oh, this is the sad music. This is the sad Pokemon music. But it doesn't matter because we are happy and we are playing the mini. I transitioned way too early for that. I didn't realize I was going for a transition, but it doesn't matter. Alright, one across. Elphaba's broom in Wicked or Aladdin's lamp in Aladdin. I'm not sure. I know the genie in Aladdin is in the lamp, but I don't know anything about the broom in Wicked. So we'll pass on that for now. Thorough investigation. Assert is too long. So I might pass on this as well. Metaphor for an unquestioning rule follower. A metaphor for an unquestioning rule follower. That's... Wow. That is a tough one. A metaphor for an unquestioning rule follower. Someone who abides by the rules is someone straight-laced. But a metaphor, not even a simile. Not even comparing them to like or as, but a metaphor, saying this represents someone who is straight-laced. And I can't think of anything else other than straight-laced. So, 7. Harvard and Yale for 2. Ivies. Yep. Blank warehouse. Department store chain. Oh. Ooh. I should know. Sears is too long. And I think it's a department store rather than a warehouse. Is it Lowe's? But Lowe's is 5 letters. Low is 4, but it would be Lowe's. Okay, we need to move on. Definitively determine. Definitively determine. Ensure. Oh my, we are really struggling. Herald of Spring. Oh my, who is the Herald of Spring? Maybe the what is it? Groundhog. That is my first guess. Is there a name for the specific groundhog? I'm uncertain, but that's really what I guess heralds spring in my eyes. Orchestral reeds. I'm thinking the reeds of a bagpipe or an oboe. Yeah, we can go oboe. Oboes? I think I spelled. I'm really at a loss. Kibble nibblers. Cats. Cats nibble at kibble. Nibble at kibble. That's cute. That's fun. That's not a Q though. What is this one? Fastidiously proper. Oh my, we are at a loss. Thorough investigation. Oh my. Metaphor for an unquestioning rule follower. And blank warehouse. Department store chain. I'm going to have to turn on auto check. And honestly, I'm going to need more than that. It's not cats? Cats nibble at kibble though. Oh my. Kibble nibblers. Rats? It's not rats either. It has to be some pets. It has to be some sort of pet. So why not just pets in general? And Elphaba's broom in Wicked or Aladdin's lamp in Aladdin. It's the plot device. It's what gets the genie. I don't know about Wicked. I'm just going off of the Disney Aladdin movie, which I watched not 2 decades ago. Definitely not 2. It's definitely not even 2 decades old, but it's close to that. By close to that, I mean, when did it come out? I don't know when it came out. Editor me will put it on here and make me feel old and make you feel old, maybe. But I'm just going off of that. But Aladdin's lamp in Aladdin. I don't know. Thorough investigation. Wow. Wow. Metaphor for unquestioning rule follower. You know what? I think I have to say what I was going to say. So yesterday I was talking about the letter H and how it's one of my favorite letters. And I was thinking of my favorite H word because I couldn't find one. Couldn't find my favorite word that involved an H in it. Cheers is a pretty good one. I didn't think of that yesterday. But is it mildly inappropriate? You know, I've already started this rant, I have to say it. My favorite H word is harlot, which would fit in this. Unfortunately, that is not a rule follower, so it's definitely incorrect, but just to finish the thought from yesterday, I have to say it. But cheers is also a really good word that has an H in it. Anyway, I'll continue. Blank warehouse, department store chain. What warehouse? I'm thinking, and I'm not thinking well. Definitely determinative, or definitively determine. Ensure. I'm going to reveal my first square and hope that it gives us something. Prove. Beyond a shadow of a doubt. Okay, that's good. And let me go back to this. Elphaba's broom in Wicked or Aladdin's lamp in Aladdin. It might be a prop. That's what I'm going to do. Yes, a prop. Herald of Spring. Nope, I don't know. It starts with an R. Or maybe pollen allergies. I'm very fortunate that I haven't had too much trouble with pollen allergies or seasonal allergies. I just have normal allergies like nuts and grass. Yeah, I always like that. That's a little fun fact about me. I am allergic to grass, technically. It's one of those things where you're technically allergic, but it doesn't really matter. Like that and dust. Or something along those lines. But yes, if I am in grass for too long a while, it will irritate my skin, unfortunately. Yes, I do have a natural born skill issue. It is such a shame. But we can continue. Herald of Spring, I do not know. Fascistly proper, I don't know. Thorough probe? Okay, it is probe. Metaphor for unquestioning rule follower. I don't know. And warehouse department store chain. Blank warehouse. No clue. Robin as a herald of spring. The bird? Okay. Oh, metaphor for unquestioning rule follower is a robot. And warehouse, men's warehouse. And our last word, the one we a little bit missed, is prim. Fastidiously proper. I'm not familiar enough with this word to pronounce it without hesitation. I do apologize. I believe fastidiously is actually butchering it. I was going to say it's confident, it's cool, it's collected. It's correct. But no, I don't have the confidence to ensure that. I don't have the confidence to say that without hesitation. My tongue is tied in so many ways. And my brain is fried in so many more. But we keep going. We continue. And what do we continue with? Why, well, they're not loading yet, but the New York Times connections. I had to slow that word down just to be able to say it. But now I said it, and now we can begin. Right. Groups of 4. Starting off with scanner. I'm thinking like maybe a barcode scanner. Like scanning a physical barcode or scanning something digitally. Like you're scanning a network for each, like a certain IP address or whatever. Browser, I'm thinking like a search engine, or I'm thinking Bowser, the Mario villain or antagonist, with an extra R in it. Poster, I'm thinking in terms of basketball. When you dunk on someone, you put them on a poster. That is a term. Or it's maybe a poster, something you hang in your room, like my Nanashi Mume artwork. That is very, very nice to look at. I'm still not, what's the word? Still a fan. Still will support her until the day she leaves, which is less than a month from now, but I'm here, and I still appreciate Nanashi Mume. Right, reader. This reads something. That can go along with scan. You can scan a book, you can read a book, but we're going to go reader. Or maybe it's a digital reader, like something that reads a book digitally. I'm not sure if that's a thing now that I say it aloud, but it is regardless. Notice. I'm thinking like a notice for a public note, like maybe a PSA. Well, PSA would be public service announcement, it's not public notice, but maybe a notice published in like a park, like saying no unattended dogs on the 3rd of the month when Venus is in retrograde. I don't know. Well, Mercury is in retrograde, not Venus. But I'm ranting. I don't know. That's beside the point. Beach. I'm thinking of an actual beach, like maybe a nice sandy shores, some salt water, maybe some beach volleyball, sunbathing. Yeah, a beach. That's a nice little vibe. Register. I'm thinking maybe a cash register. I'm thinking maybe to register something, to register it in the system. I can't use the word without defining it. Sorry about that, but register. Along the lines of inputting something's information into something. Like let's say you would register financial data into an Excel spreadsheet. Folder. This holds papers. So I'm good with saying that. This holds files, or maybe it's like a computer folder that holds files. Sunday, a day of the week, or maybe an ice cream sundae. That's always something. A bulletin, this goes along with notice, and I think it's going to be along those lines, like just some post that gives you information about something. Scale, I'm thinking size, or like the scale of something, the size of something, or I'm thinking scale, what you use to weigh things. Tree, oh my, that's a... So, I remember this being a popular, not tidbit, but a popular little meme in a niche community of mathematicians or whatnot, where tree of 3 is a really big number, because it is an unfathomably large number. I forget exactly what the tree function does. I believe the tree of 1 is 1, the tree of 2 is 3, something along those lines, but the tree of 3 is just so incomprehensibly big, and that's weird. Mathematicians are weird. They're weird little people. They just invent their numbers and do whatnot, and it's weird. I respect them. I want to be like them, but I can, even if I end up being like them, I will not be able to say that they are not weird. They are definitely a strange little bunch. Granted, that you can say the same about everything, but they'll invent like some weird sort of concept. And I say invent because it's not... There's a whole saying about whether mathematics is something that's discovered or invented. But let me tell you, there are things in math that are definitely invented. First thing that comes to mind is quaternions, which... so you have your natural numbers and whatnot. You have your actual numbers, your real numbers. This is the things that actually exist. And then you have your imaginary numbers, I, the square root of -1, which is your slippery slope in mathematics. This is like, okay, this doesn't really exist, but it makes a lot of things easier. For example, like the roots of an equation, like a quadratic equation, or even like something to the degree of 3. Equation. It'll give you roots of that and make the it'll make it make sense. And then there's also the engineering aspect where like e to the pi I is equal to -1, and it's e to the n pi I, well, not n pi, e to the ni, or theta I should say, is equal to cosine theta plus I sine theta, or is it minus I sine theta? I do forget. It's just weird. It doesn't make sense actually. Like in reality, there's no reason why it should be that way, aside from the fact that it makes mathematics work easier. But it is really useful for that concept for engineering. But anyways, yes, point is being mathematicians really like to do things that don't make sense. Oh, I didn't even talk about quaternions. Sorry. Quaternions, going back to imaginary numbers. So the square root of -1 is equal to I, right? But what if it also... Well, maybe not that. But, okay, so what squared equals -1? I, right? I squared equals -1. That's correct. But what if j squared also equaled -1? But also, what if k squared also equaled -1? And you might say, okay, that makes some sense. I equals j equals k. No. I does not equal j, and k is not equal to either I or j. It's so strange and bizarre. It's just... In the actual terms is, I squared is equal to j squared equal to k squared, which is equal to -1. But I is not equal to j, which is not equal to k, which is not equal to I. And the last thing, the most important thing, and the thing that actually has use in society nowadays, not when it was founded, of course. Oh no, mathematicians like to create things, solve things, do things, and then just say, yeah, I have no idea what this can be used for. Someone will find a use for it in the future. And that goes along with my two ideas of geniuses. People who can innovate and people who can use innovation. And they're not mutually exclusive, but mathematicians definitely tend to fall in the people who can innovate, and less so in the people who can use innovation. Granted, we are, and by we I mean mathematicians are using crazy amounts of, how you say, innovation every day. Every previous innovation they are using, and it's crazy. It is just simply crazy. But yes, last thing about quaternions is, did I say it? I times j is equal to j times k is equal to I, and then I times k equals to j, or did I say I? No, or is it I times k equals j? I forget which one I didn't say, but basically that. I'll flash it on the screen. It's very bizarre. This is one of the reasons why I believe math is invented. There is no natural use for that. There is no natural conception for that. Yes, in reality, 1 plus 1 equals 2. But a mathematician will do their best to bend and break those rules, and that's some terrifying innovation. Like I'm certain you heard of, well, you might have heard of, the proof that 1 plus 1 equals 2. It is, something ridiculous, like 300 pages long, to prove that 1 plus 1 equals 2. Granted, they define addition, define the number 1, define the number 2 based on that, and define equals. It's a whole big spiel that's a metaphorical middle finger to common sense. That's a bit of a crude way of saying it, but it's just so unconventional. It's brilliant, it's terrifying, and it's just proof, undeniable proof, that mathematicians are weird. I didn't say that a bit endearingly, to be clear. If I didn't make it clear, I mean this in a very endearing way. I am inspired. I'm just very scared. But yes, tree of 3, very big. We don't think about tree of 4. We think about tree of 3, and that's huge. Soda can. It is called a soda can, not a soda can't. But this holds liquid. Single open. Has a tab. Oh! Going with browser for tab. I'll look into that. Conveyor belt. This goes along the lines of maybe automation where you'd have a scale. That's a bit of a stretch though. Conveyor belt. Did I say conveyor belt? I don't know. But conveyor belt, yes. What else? It rotates, I guess. That's the best way to phrase it, but we can go on. Keyboard. This goes along with, maybe, computer stuff. Keyboard, a board of keys. Or maybe it's like, keyboard as in like not a digital piano, that's silly, but like I believe the electronic pianos are called keyboards, the smaller, cheaper ones. I believe those are called keyboards. So maybe it's that. Maybe it's the music. An announcement. That goes with notice and bulletin. Anything else that means to a poster. Yeah, that means to, what does it say? Printed notification. Yes, that's what I was going for. Now let's go for tabs. A soda can has a tab. A browser has a tab. What else has a tab? Keyboard has a tab key. Oh my, okay. We're getting somewhere. Scale doesn't have tab. Folders. Do folders have tabs? Oh, some folders do have tabs. And I'm content with this guess. Oh, things with tabs. Nice. I'm going to be honest though, I thought it was the purple. I thought it was really clever, but it's just the blue. But the blue is still nice. And we still have all 4 of our guesses, and we still have just 2 more left. Wonderful. Alright, a tree has roots, it has leaves. And tree of 3 is an incomprehensible number, but that doesn't seem to be the case here. A reader, a scanner, a register, and what else? I was going to say, what else is storing information of this? I'd say maybe scale. But does this make sense? And does Sunday, beach, conveyor belt, and tree make sense? No. I'm going to guess it anyway. But it doesn't make sense. One away, though. That means we're also one away with tree, beach, Sunday, and conveyor belt. I wonder. Reader. Read a book under, let's see. You read a book under the nice palm tree on a Sunday in a beach? Would scanner, scale, conveyor belt, and register make sense? It might make sense, actually, now that I think about it, but let's click it. Oh! I did say palm tree, but We accidentally got it. Palm Beach, Palm Reader, Palm Sunday, and Palm Tree. Oh my. And these last four do scream a bit of automation, but... Or maybe packaging? Oh, grocery checkout. Oh my, I got lucky, I guess. Oh, that's nice. That's always nice. But yes, conveyor belts at a grocery checkout counter. Granted, I register, scale, and scanner. Oh, wow. I usually use self-checkouts, and self-checkouts don't have conveyor belts. At least not the ones I've used. So, yeah. It's been such a long while. I don't like to use the actual man checkouts. I don't like the human interaction there. I feel it's a bit awkward, and I just like my computers. I like my electronics. I like to just go to them and say, hey, I love you, computer. You don't talk to me, and I respect that. Yeah, just a bit of mild social anxiety, but also just, it's awkward. It is awkward. I don't want you to have to do your job. I'd rather you just be there and get paid, and I just don't want to bother you at all. But the forced interaction, because I need to check out, ooh, that is a bit terrifying. But we did it. We solved the connection. And it was pretty easy, but it was pretty easy because luck was on our side. Luck was on our side, and fortune favors those who seek it. And I was definitely seeking some fortune today. Definitely doing my best to just probe it in the connections. But let's see if fortune continues to favor me, because we have one more game, one more special little puzzle. And I noticed the music is a bit low, so I'm going to raise it a little bit. I think I lowered it last time. There we go. 35, and whatever that number means, that's what it should be around. But what else should be around is our last puzzle of the day. Graphs. Is it graphs? What's the full name of this? Graphs.word. Play today's graph. Let's... Alright, so we have to pick a data set that represents this graph, I assume. I'm not entirely sure, but that... Wait, do we have a little rule set? User options, open archive, view graphs, and... No, we don't. Okay, so I'm just going to assume that we have to guess it. What is this data set? So we see it's very blue until 1949, where purple exists. And then red exists for a moment here in 65. And then back in for a bit of the 70s. And more thoroughly exists to today. And speaking of thoroughly exists to today, so does purple. Purple is rather large, rather big. And then there's also green. Alright, so let's begin. Commercial passenger aircraft production market share of Boeing, Airbus. Okay. All those brands? Maybe. Though, would Boeing be higher than Airbus? I feel like it is, because I'll hear Boeing more so in the news. But granted, that might be because I believe Boeing is I'm not sure about Airbus being American-centric, but I know Boeing is. Well, not American-centric, but very American. I believe it's American. Whatever. But also, it also could just be in the news more often because of the very noticeable budget cuts in terms of staff, which lowers the quality. Very, very noticeable. Very much whistleblowers, very much a lot of things about it. Alright, then, here, down one. Global major film studio market share of MGM. Warner Bros., DreamWorks, and Pixar. Warner Bros., DreamWorks, and Pixar. Huh. Maybe, but... Estimated nuclear warhead stockpiles of the US, Russia, China, and France. This is a good one, but if I'm being completely honest, was there a time in which, from my understanding, the US has held more nuclear warheads than Russia for a majority of the Cold War, if not all of it? I thought Russia peaked at like 15,000 and the US peaked at like 20. However, if I'm going to be completely honest, that was my first thought, that this was like nuclear warheads. So maybe. Global oil production market share of the US, Russia, Saudi Arabia, and Iran. Okay. And then market capitalization share of the New York Stock Exchange, London Stock Exchange, Tokyo Stock Exchange, and Shanghai Stock Exchange. Well, oh, this only goes up to 2022. I was going to say, stock market's been doing terribly, so I'd expect the US to be lower, but yeah, I don't think this is it. No offense to London Stock Exchange, but I do not think you are larger than the New York Stock Exchange. I do not think, yeah, especially going with 45. Well, granted, London Stock Exchange might have came at later date, but yeah, I'm not sure. Well, did it? I remember in, what was it? Ah, man. What is that movie? That old movie with, the nanny who sings about supercalifragilisticexpialidocious, who said, not a spoonful of sugar makes the medicine go down. That's the Sound of Music, but, oh man, I forget that film. But I know, well, that's more of a bank rather than, or was it a bond that the kid was going to buy, but he ended up spending his money on a kite or something. I believe it was a bond, but maybe it's not related to the London Stock Exchange. Man, that's going to eat at me, whatever that film was. I'm going to post it here. Editor me will, at least. But I feel a bit silly for not noticing. But yes, I don't think it's market capitalization. So it's up to these top four, mainly because I don't think London topped the US since '93. I believe New York Stock Exchange would hold a majority. So I'm going to nix that one. And I don't think it's nuclear warhead stockpiles, but it could be nuclear warhead stockpiles. I really don't know. Did France ever have a nuclear warhead in the 60s? I don't want to say yes, or warheads plural. I don't know. I'm gonna nix this one as well. Oil, it could always be oil. Or maybe, I don't know. I don't think it's oil, so maybe it's one of the top two. I don't think it's oil because I feel that even going back to 45 and 46, the US wouldn't be the only 100% share, unless this is solely for US purchasing oil. In which case, then I would see Russia being a factor. But even then, I don't really believe in it too much. I'm leaning towards major film studio, but it could be commercial aircraft. But I'm going to lean film studio market. Incorrect. Alright, then maybe it's this. Incorrect. Oh my. We have one more guess. And these are the three I have the least amount of faith in. You know what? I'm going to go global oil production market share. Was that right? Was that wrong? It's not rotating. Come on, let's see. Oh. It was warhead production. I guess well, if we want to be technical about this, it would be USSR going into the 90s. Not Russia. If we want to be technical about this. Though, that being said, my first instinct was nuclear stockpiles. But if we do want to be technical about this, Russia did not exist. And, like, from the 40s to, like, the late 80s, early 90s. It did not exist. And unless you count as a territory of the USSR. If we want to get technical and nitpicky, but we don't. It is what it is. We failed there, and that's okay. Luck was not on our side. I wrote it off because of a preconceived notion that ended up to be my downfall, that I did not believe Russia surpassed the US in warhead production. But that is what it is. Right. Thank you all for watching. It has been fun, as always. It is really fun. But I am getting tired. I'm very tired. I need to sleep. It is late for me. I need to go in my bed, put on my whatever video I want to listen to while I fall asleep. What do I listen to while I fall asleep? I like to listen to some binaural beats when I go to bed. On occasion, not always. But they're basically just sounds that play at slightly different frequencies on each ear. And apparently it's supposed to help you go into REM sleep and whatnot. And I haven't done much research into it, but I like it. It's comforting, it's soothing, and I appreciate it. Granted, I'm not sure if I'm weird for this, so you can answer this for me, but I sleep on my side. I find it more comfortable than sleeping on my back. I really struggle to fall asleep while sleeping on my back. And then even when I do try to sleep on my back and have headphones on to listen to this, binaural music and whatnot, my head always goes to a little bit to one side, and it's just mildly uncomfortable. So I just really do prefer sleeping on my side. And I know that's... Well, I don't know. I thought that was normal for most of my life. Now I'm second guessing myself. Is it normal? Are you a side sleeper? Are you a back sleeper? Or are you a face sleeper? You should not be a face sleeper, though. Please do not sleep on your face. I think that is... dangerous might be a stretch, but it does not seem like the safest and healthiest way to sleep. Granted, you could be screaming about that way about me sleeping on my side. And to be clear, I do prefer sleeping on my left side. It's just a slight preference, though. I sleep on both sides. It's nice, and it's weird, because I don't know how I, angle myself. I feel like I become a soup, like a cat, in a way, where a cat becomes this amorphous blob that fits in whatever box. It's like that meme, cats are liquids at room temperature, or whatever, because they can just conform to the shape of anything they're in. And I'm sort of like that, because my body just contorts to a way where it feels natural to sleep on my side. And I'm definitely throwing my shoulders off for a loop, but it's just so comfortable. I can't help it. It's a really nice way for me to sleep. And I've tried sleeping on my back. I've tried countless times, because I like listening to binaural beats as I fall asleep. I like listening to videos as I fall asleep. But sometimes it's really hard. It's so uncomfortable. Granted, I do listen to ASMR occasionally, and for that I just lie on my back, head on a pillow, and just dissociate into my mattress. But I can't fall asleep like that. I just can't fall asleep. I can relax, I can calm down, but I cannot fall asleep. Anyways, I hope I will have sweet dreams, and I hope you will have sweet dreams, because that is the end of the video. Thank you all for watching, and as always, have a day. I hope it's a good one. See ya.